The court will call the matter of Ypsilanti Township versus Kamisha Gardner, case number 25T00229.
Paul Barnett on behalf of the township.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. If it please this honorable court, Brandon Bird on behalf of Jamisha Gardner. Ms. Gardner, can you please state your full name for the record?
Ms. Gardner, you have to unmute your device, please.
I'm sorry, they stole my phone, and I'm working off of a tablet. I gotta figure out how to do this. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Please state your name.
Miss Washington, I love you. You know what?
Ms. Gardner.
No, I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to her.
Can I see counsel in the breakout room, please?
I just want to tell you, I love you so much.
All right, we are back on the record in the case of Ypsilanti Township versus Jamisha Gardner. Ms. Gardner, can you come back to the screen?
No.
All right, you're
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, can you hear me, Miss Washington?
Yes, I can, Ms. Gardner.
Okay.
So,
it go in and out sometimes on this tablet. I don't really know how to work this thing. And sometimes when people be calling me, it just drops silent. I don't know. I'm trying to work it though.
Yeah, well, you're doing just fine.
Guess what? I know your brother Tony. Ma'am.
I don't have a brother named Tony.
Yeah. So, I know him as Tony.
No, I don't have any brother that goes by Tony.
Do you know Anthony Johnson?
Miss Gardner?
Your ex-boyfriend?
I don't have an ex-boyfriend.
He's trying to be my man right now. He mad at me because I don't want him. Your ex says,
ma'am,
Anthony,
this is
Anthony Johnson. Do it ring a bell?
You dated Anthony Johnson. Miss Gardner, stop talking.
I'm glad you fucking ditched me.
Miss Gardner, you are going to end up going to jail today, or you need to go over to community corrections and get on a scram tether because you're clearly drunk right now. So you need to go to community corrections. You need to find a ride there by the end of the day today and get on a scram tether. Okay? If you don't go by the end of the day, then you're going to force me to issue a bench warrant and have you picked up, which I don't want to do. But you got to get on a tether because you're drunk. There's no way that we can proceed today with this pretrial. Obviously, Ms. Gardner is completely out of control right now. And I'm going to give her the benefit of an opportunity to get on the scram tether before she gets incarcerated. So, Attorney Bird, hopefully you can reach out to your client and be able to get her over to community corrections in some way, shape, or form. Mr. Barnett, is there anything you wanted to say before we pass this case?
No, Your Honor, I support the steps you're taking right now. That's fine.
I do also, Your Honor.
All right. And for the record, I don't have a brother named Tony, nor an ex-boyfriend named Anthony Johnson. So have a good day, Ms. Gardner. You can remove her.
And you and Your Honorable Court have a great day, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Go! Will you hand me my screen box? Now go.
For medical attention. I went to the hospital in an attempt to read his chemical test rates from his DI 177 form and was unable due to his highly intoxicated state. At the time, obviously, the vehicle was towed. Patrolman Benson then prepared a search warrant affidavit for blood, submitted a search warrant and affidavit to Michael Kazak, APA, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office for review. Mr. Kazak returned the search warrant and affidavit to Benson, which was sent to Judge Michael McNally. Ultimately, the search warrant was approved. We served a search warrant, Cornwall Hospital. Nurse Stephen Simpson drew 2 vials of blood. They were secured in the evidence MSP blood collection kit forwarded to the MSP crime lab. July 29th, Roseville Township Police Department received State of Michigan Department of State Police Forensic Science Division Laboratory Report TX 25-10251 in regards to Stephen James Balance blood alcohol content, which was 0.500 grams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood.
I've never heard of such a thing.
On July 31st, a warrant recommendation was forwarded to Wayne County Prosecutor's Office for the following charges.
Is that why you guys are going state on this, because of the high BAC?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to authorize on the super drunken OWI charge. I'm going to ask you to approach and sign the complaint, please. It's the highest I've ever heard of.
I totally agree. Never, even to the point the second PEP was given because he wasn't.
Do you know, this gentleman lives on Meridian. I hate to see this guy, you know, it's a first offense, it appears, right?
Actually, it's a second.
Why didn't they charge?
I don't know.
When's the prior? I don't have the criminal history in here.
Definitely within 7 years. It was on a Riverview.
Why didn't they do that?
I don't know, Your Honor.
All right, well, either way, I can't, why don't you call him and say he needs to show up in court today?
Okay.
Lisa, you can hold off on entering the warrant. Tell me she come in this morning. Okay, I'm not gonna, I'll put down $100. He may be released when interim cash bail is posted in that amount. But I think you should call him and tell him we'd like him to come in first thing this morning for arraignment, okay?
Okay. I'll give it a shot.
Okay, tell him to take an Uber if he's drinking. Tell him he better not drive if he's drinking.
Okay.
I want to get him on a sober link and get him in a treat.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Stay.
Stay seated, please.
Court is back in session.
People against Stephen Balint. Stephen James Balint, 25I-718-730. Your name?
Hi, Your Honor. My name is Stephen James Ballant.
Michael A. Carmen, 37324 on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor.
Your name?
Detective Constantine Secretary for the Roseville Township Police Department.
I asked the detective to stand here, stay here. I don't usually do this on a misdemeanor because I wanted him to tell you, if you can't tell from reading whatever's in the file, as to what Mr. Balint's blood draw was.
He PBT'd the first time at a 0.60, the second time at a 0.57 blood. And his blood alcohol was being crime lab. Came back at a 0.500.
I've never heard of anything so high. So I want you to understand, I don't want you to admit that you even took a sniff of alcohol that day, okay? So don't say anything. Does he stand mute, waive formal reading?
He does, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm gonna set a bond. Tell me where he works at.
Your Honor, he is currently interviewing for paraprofessional jobs for the coming school year. He's had interviews in 4 different districts. Is not sure where he is going to be placed just yet, but that is his plan for the coming school year, which starts in a couple weeks. Full-time paraprofessional. He's currently residing with his parents on Bayview on Groseal.
Is his father here?
I believe he's in the parking lot.
And correct me, has he already been printed on this?
No, he has not.
Okay, let me just double check. How much do you make, sir?
On average, $40,000 a year.
I'm setting 5, I'll listen to anything you have to say.
Your Honor, just that his last drink was July 19th. That was 2 days after the incident. At that time, after he was arrested, he did move back in with his parents for the time being on Bayview Street in Groseal. On July 28th, he took his own initiative to go to Maple Grove inpatient and was there until August 1st. He does plan on attending AA. I think his first one is going to be tonight. but otherwise ask for consideration of a personal bond. You know, here on time today, obviously resigning with his parents on gross seal, he's not going anywhere.
I'm still setting 5,000, 10%. He's gonna have to borrow some money. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court. You cannot violate any law or ordinance. You must appear in court as directed. You can post that, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
You're not to purchase, possess, or consume alcohol, marijuana, or illegal drugs. There's to be no contact with prosecution witnesses except through your lawyer. You're going to AANA at least 5 times per week, and you do have to be on a SoberLink device by the end of the day. So you post the 500, go over to probation, they'll explain it to you. You have to go to AANA in person. And again, 5 times a week. I think you need to start to set the stage with him to be in sobriety court.
Your Honor, I've actually already explained that possibility to him, just a cursory outline of it. I think that's
I'd love to have you in there, Mr. Boleyn. I think we can help you. Okay?
Yes,
Now, Lisa, I want this case, okay? It's gonna be on my docket.
Okay.
So I'm gonna set it for September the 2nd in the afternoon. Is that good?
Yes, 1 o'clock.
So your pretrial will be September 2nd at 1 o'clock. Mr. Boleyn?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Boleyn has indicated he wants to retain me for this matter. Could we use September 9th, please?
8:30 in the morning, September 9th, Mr. Boleyn, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I don't want to get anybody to panic, but I'm shocked if he's at a 5-0. He's still laughing. Shows what I've always learned. I don't know. We got to get him some help. Thank you. I'll see you.
Thanks so much, Your Honor.
Thanks a lot.
Good afternoon.
SoberLink end of the day, son.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Send probation.
Chris Gross, 25B717449. Good morning, Sergeant. Good morning. Your name?
Sergeant Morrison, Brownstown Police.
Raise your right hand. Solemnly swear or affirm under penalties of perjury the testimony you give in these proceedings will be the whole truth, so help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Your Honor, 5/4/25 at 8:55 hours, Officer Lieb of Brownstown Police was dispatched to 21400, reference to the defendant, who is identified as Chris Gross, who is outside the building with a possible foot and shoulder injury. Upon arrival, Officer Lieb requested Brownstown Fire Department ambulance after defendant requested to go to the hospital. Officer Lieb also informed Sergeant Smith that he wanted to speak with, that the defendant wanted to speak with a supervisor. Sergeant Smith responded to the scene, on scene, and eventually in front of the Brownstown Police Department in the front lot. The defendant falsely reported to Sergeant Smith that he was aggravated, feloniously assaulted by a Brownstown police officer, presumably Officer Washburn. The defendant was transported to Cornwall Heritage Hospital for treatment. This incident occurred at 5/4/25 at 9:07 hours. It occurred at 2 locations, 23125 Brownstown, Wayne County, which is the police station. The first address being the place where the defendant resides. On the date of incident, Sergeant Smith arrived at Baldwin House and spoke with the defendant. The defendant advised Sergeant Smith that Brownstown officers came in and got him out of his apartment and that he was slammed against a door. The defendant was presumably referring to an incident on the night prior where officers were on scene investigating an arson complaint, which occurred inside the Baldwin house. The defendant couldn't remember the officer's name, but described him as a tall individual. He was identified as via his U.S. Veterans Identification Card. The defendant was, sorry. Sergeant Smith asked the defendant if he wanted to fill out a complaint form, and he stated that he did. The defendant stated the incident occurred just outside of his apartment door, which is room 455 on the night prior. Sergeant Smith asked the fire to transport the defendant to the front of our lot so the complaint could be taken, and so they did. On 5/4/24 at approximately 9:18 hours, Sergeant
25, you mean?
parked in the front lot of the Brown.
Wait a minute, wait, I'm losing you. You said 5/4/24.
I'm sorry, 5/4/25, Your Honor. That was a
And then I kind of lost you there, so you're gonna have to repeat that.
I apologize.
All right.
5/4/25 at approximately 9:18 hours, Sergeant Smith went out to the ambulance that was parked in front of the Brownstown Police Station in order to provide the defendant with complaint forms and get the defendant Gross's information. Sergeant Smith confirmed with the defendant about his original statement that last night an officer twisted his arm and slammed him against the wall. The defendant stated that the officer then knocked him down, stepped on his head, and said the officer threatened him by saying that he would shoot, that he, quote, "Listen here, you fat fuck Navy, fuck, I'll fucking shoot you," end quote. The defendant stated the officer then pulled his gun out and said, "I'll blow your head off right now." The defendant said after the officer threatened to blow his head off, the defendant told him to do it. The defendant told Sergeant Smith that he told the officer to let the defendant go into this apartment to get his gun so they could have a gunfight. The defendant then said to Sergeant Smith that he would disarm the officer. Sergeant Smith asked the defendant why he was going to take his gun from him, and the defendant stated because, quote, "he threatened me," end quote, and, quote, "he's a bad fucking cop," end quote. After reviewing body cam footage, Sergeant Smith presumed that the defendant was referring to Officer Washburn as the officer that assaulted him, as Officer Washburn was the primary contact officer with the defendant while investigating this arson case, which occurred hours before at 1:10 hours. Sergeant Smith was able to review body cam footage from Officer Washburn and Lieutenant Wheeler from the arson investigation at Baldwin House. At 1:24 hours on date of incident, the defendant opened the door and stepped out into the hallway when officers made contact. At 1:25, the defendant turned around and attempted to go back to his apartment. As the defendant attempted to go back in his apartment, Officer Washburn can be seen briefly grabbing onto the defendant's left forearm and letting go. It appears that Officer Washburn then briefly grabs the defendant's right bicep. The defendant complies and stays in the hallway while officers continue their investigation into who started the fire. After reviewing Officer Washburn's body cam footage, the allegations of the defendant of aggravated assault and alleged felonious assault by Officer Washburn with a firearm were dispelled. I have nothing further, Your Honor, unless you have questions for me.
Based on your testimony, I find the charge of false report of a felony was committed. There's probable cause to believe the crime was committed by the defendant. You've signed that. I'm dating next to your name, reflecting that this is the date of the sign-on record, and I'm signing and dating the complaint and warrant. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What is going on today? This is a joke. Today is an absolute He's an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself somehow.
Oh my God, sir, put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside of this. What is wrong with everybody today? You know what, Miss Reed, we're going to start bringing people in person. You're going to learn how to act in a courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it? Okay.
Come and go, so no patience. Trust me, at the end of the day, I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.